When I allocate money for Four Horsemen Studios figures, I generally save as much as possible for future figures. The vast majority of my budget goes to direct pre-orders, and I always have something in reserve for Figura Obscura drops as well. It is, in my opinion, the best way to collect Mythic Legions, but imagine you have a little extra cash and you're just itching to get a Legions figure or two in hand right away, or maybe you're new to the line and putting money up front now for a pre-order that might not hit for 18 plus months is just not appealing. You want to try something now, so for the sake of this video, try to imagine someone gave you $50 or $100 or $200 or $400 right now today and told you have 24 hours to spend it on Mythic Legions or the money goes away. What would you buy in each of those price tiers? I'd love to hear what you would do, so let me know in the comments below. Now, let's get into this list. My first consideration when it comes to retail Legions shopping is usually the direct price to retail price percentage increase. When figures first go up for pre-order, or also on the rare occasion, very rare occasion these days, of an in-stock sale, they are made available at a discounted price as an incentive for buying direct from Four Horsemen Studios. The core example I can give is a standard Legions figure, which is sold directly for $37 plus tax and shipping versus its retail price of $50 plus tax and shipping. The price differential is $13 or 35% price increase. Some figures represent a high percentage increase, like the Legion Builders, which at $45 are a 73% increase from their base price of $26, whereas something like Cosmic Sligor, which was a $60 direct figure and is only marked up $10 or 17%, represents a fantastic value in my opinion. Of course, this dynamic isn't the only factor to consider, but it does play a big part in my choices on this list. With that said, some figures were never even offered at that direct discount price, and my $50 pick, Sir Lige of the Elite Elven Guard, is one such example. Lige was a retailer exclusive release and only ever available at that $50 price point, but it also represents a fantastic amount of value in the box. I've already praised the hell out of this in my review, but the highlights include a popular gold, red, black color scheme, multiple looks including elf and half orc, and an extra set of upper arms and upper legs for some instant pop and swap options. I also polled the Mythic Legions Cabal Facebook group community for some of their picks, and here are a few they chose at that $50 tier: Arazak, Thrace, Skeleton Builder, Lige, Lady Averona, Zendi, Ziri, Hellfire Goblin, and Novian Lean. All awesome picks, and really there's not a lot of flexibility in the $50 price point because that's kind of like the basic price of your retail Legions, so pick a figure you really like at $50 and grab it. Next is the $100 budget, which in most cases will be two standard figures, or some people might rather pick up an aftermarket figure, like an older figure at a little bit of a price increase. For me, if I'm really being honest with myself, I would probably at this price point just get two Liges, the figure from my $50 price point. But for the sake of variety, I decided to keep with the spirit of this video, which really comes from the desire to help newcomers dip their toes into the Legions world. So I went with one Cosmic, one Mythic, Zirian Spire, and Dubon. If these were your first two Legions figures, you'd be getting an amazing sampling of the line. Ziri is arguably the most important character in Cosmic Legions right now, and Dubon is one of the best character designs period from Four Horsemen Studios. Both come with great accessories. Dubon has a bunch of different hands. The cloth goods on both are some of the best in the line, and this also gives you two different body types, a 2.0 in Ziri and a 1.0 in Dubon. If you want to know what that means, check out my video guide to Legion scales. And as for the community picks for the $100 price point for duos, we have Thrace and Lige, or two Arazaks, or Ziri and an Engineer, or perhaps Lige and Hagnon. And then for aftermarket older figures, people are saying they'd buy Balam at that 100 price point, Erethyr, Thistlethorn, Artemis 2, or any character that has a name from Advent of Decay, so any of the kind of like harder to find Advent of Decay figures. I do think Artemis 2 you might be able to get for less than that because she's fairly recent, but all of those are fantastic picks. Other picks include Arakagor, or you could get Sligor plus the Grave Knight weapons pack, Azahazar, all great options. A few people said the Attila Gorgo 2-pack, but when I checked retailer prices and aftermarket prices, I couldn't really find it that low. If I'm wrong and it is available at $100, then that is the one that I would suggest to get at this price, in my opinion, but more about that set later. And if your budget is $200, things can get a little more interesting with mixing and matching different scales and price points. For this tier, I chose 2 figures that represent outstanding value on the direct-to-retail percentage chart, Sligor and Varg, and a figure that on paper is one of the worst direct-to-retail prices, Kalazir. But the reason for Kalazir is that he turned out to be the sleeper of the Poxus wave. And while I doubt there will be many quick sellouts, if it does happen, I think it will be Kalazir. He was comparatively under-ordered, and the in-hand reactions to this one have convinced a lot of collectors to scoop him up post-released, so just a little heads up on that one. Phenomenal figure. All of these figures are great, and on a $200 budget right now, you can't do much better than this lineup. Community suggestions include a lot of older aftermarket figures. Jesse says he would grab Gadriel plus Zendi. Josh would grab Brother Mandibulus plus Sir Gerard, and Nolan would go for Urku. And finally, the $400 budget is a great place to reiterate again that the most cost-effective way to build a large Mythic Legions collection is to get yourself on a pattern of direct pre-orders, and consider this list more of a jumpstart scenario for folks looking to perhaps try out the line for the first time without having to commit 12 to 18 months in advance. That said, if I were going to drop $400 right now for in-stock Four Horsemen figures, here's what I would get. First up, Deluxe Olek Thygar for $60. Similar to my Ziri pick earlier, he is a top-tier cosmic character, and his direct-to-retail increase is on the lower end at just 25%. Also at 25%, Arakagor for $75 is another value price, and the presence of this figure cannot be overstated. Just be aware that some people have struggled with the tail, so if spending some effort assembling a figure is not your thing, you could maybe swap this one out with Azahazar or one of the other Ogre scale figures. The next one is heavily reliant on the current aftermarket. I mentioned this one earlier with some folks suggesting that it could be found for $100, but I could not find any listings that low. The Gorgo Attila 2-pack retails for $150, but I have seen it available for $125 shipped on eBay, which brings it low enough to fit into my $400 budget. Honestly, I still maintain that if you are new to Legions and you want to buy just 2 figures, your first 2 figures, this is the place to start. Amazing sculpts, quality cloth goods, and 2 of the most important characters in Legion's lore. And finally, the last $140 of my $400 budget goes to the Headless Horseman. Not only does this one get a horse into your collection, but it also brings the amazing Figura Obscura into the mix, which also includes Mythic and Cosmic. And from the Cabal, I like where Sean's head is at. He says Gorgo Attila 2-pack as well, Headless Horseman, Xylernian Guard, Poxus Weapons Pack, and the Heroic Magic Accessory Packs. He adds the 2-pack and Headless Horseman are scene stealers of releases, and the Guard is an all-around great knight. With all these guys in the 2-packs, you could make a ton of unique figures or enhance any of the existing ones wonderfully. I wholeheartedly agree with that, and I also agree that Xylernian Guard could slide right into that $50, like just anywhere where you got an extra $50. Xylernian Guard is perfect. It's an incredible Legions figure. Anyway, that'll do it for this list. Let me know what you would get in each budget tier in the comments below. And until next time, may the Force be with you.